the interesting experiments that you guys are doing, where does the concept come? We're in a room full of like whiskey barrels at a beer brewery.
Right.
Where does the concept and the idea of some of the experimentation come? Is that all your brainchild, or where does that come from?
No, I wish I could take credit for all of it, but we all have this focus of making great quality beer, keep making Kiltlifter as best as it could be, you know, 8th Street Ale, Hop Knot, all the core beers. But behind all of that is this sort of seed of innovation. Always try something new, always push the envelope and do something different. Now, barrels aren't necessarily a different thing in the craft brewing industry. They've been around for quite a while. Luckily, we got on it early. So we think our barrel program is great, but we're getting into whole new stuff now. I mean, our eyes got opened a while ago. Everyone's using fruit in beer. And we were like, why not go into the kitchen and find something else? So we're looking at new ingredients. We made a tandoori Raj ale, which tastes like curry, actually. Absolutely weird, not a huge hit. I loved it, not everyone did, but it's that kind of innovative spirit of like, why not, let's try it. So it leads to barrel rooms, and it leads to weird beers and kind of cool experience.
It really is fun to watch you guys work. And one of the first stories I remember you talking about, and I know you seemed at the time it was kind of innovative, was you were the first ones that found somebody to strip away the hard water that we have here in Arizona, kind of strip it down to nothing, so that, and everybody seems to be doing that now, but you were kind of the first ones really that were doing that, right?
Yeah. You know, back in the day, we had lots of friends that hung out and drank a lot of the beer that we brewed, the home beer stuff. And one guy was getting his PhD at ASU in chemistry, and we just said, hey, can you help us with the water? And you know, he analyzed it and said, well, you know, Tempe's got hard water, but which we want for our pale ales, but it also has the irons and the sulfites and the things we don't want. So, you know, him and Andy agreed, hey, let's just strip the water, let's start from scratch, and let's put the salts back into it. Now, you know, I'm sure other people were doing it, but, you know, we kind of came up with that for Arizona, and no one in Arizona really was doing that, right?
I don't think anyone in the Southwest or in the Western region was using RO water and then building back, and now we're probably one of 7 breweries in Tempe that's using RO water. So, yeah, pioneers, yeah, maybe, but it came out of necessity, and it was an innovative thing. We were like, why are we going to pigeonhole ourselves with bad water? I mean, if this beer's 5% alcohol, it's 95% water, and if that sucks, that beer's going to suck. So, literally, like Jim said, we got the right people on board and asked them the right questions, and then kind of went weird with it. We're like, why not strip it all completely out and start over from there? And it's been great for us.
All right, so the changes, I want to talk about those. I want to move around a little bit so we can see some different parts of this room we're in, but then I want to talk to you guys about the changes over the last year or so, and what the great things that are happening. So we'll be back in a minute. Tell me about the building and why you guys chose this one.
Well, you know, the thing with breweries is you go into old buildings and renovate, and it was kind of hard to do that in Arizona, especially Phoenix. There's not a lot of old buildings, especially Tempe. We really wanted to be in Tempe. We lived in and really went to school here, and we just wanted to be here. So we found this old building on 8th Street, and you know, it looked like a lot of work. It was a lot of work. The city, you know, said it's going to be a lot of work, but we just we knew we had to be in this building, and we needed to renovate it, and it not being a strip mall. So once we found it, you know, we just knew we were going to be here.
But when you say an old building, I mean that's kind of what is it, 1890? Yeah, that's more than just an old building, and a lot of history here, right? One of the oldest buildings in town.
The old ice house used to deliver milk and ice cream to all the Tempe residents.
Yeah, people used to set their watches by the steam whistle here, they said.
That's crazy. And see, I think that also is part of the Arizona connection. I think I've told you all at some point in the story, I was in Texas working in Dallas, and one of the engineers at the TV station used to drive a satellite truck around the country. And when he found out I was from Arizona, he told me he'd give me $50 if I'd bring him a 6-pack of Kiltlifter the next time I went back, because every time he comes through Arizona.
125.
Well, there you go. So I actually know better. I know if he's the engineer and he runs the place, he got the beer for free, because they always help you out. But the idea now is, because of what's happened recently, there's a chance someday he's gonna be able to get it there too.
Yeah, sure.
How did that come about? And how difficult was that decision, or was it an easy decision for you guys?
I think we struggled with it for a little while, but we finally had a moment where we were like, look, we don't really have a succession plan. None of our kids are really interested in carrying on at the time. They're still very young. So that was really the impetus of it, is, oh, let's go out and let some people kick some tires and see what we can maybe get out of this thing. So I think that's how it started. But to your bigger point about getting out of state that was one of the things we considered. Is we finally ran into a wall, I think, and we'll all admit it, is you get to a point where you don't know what you don't know. And we were there with the business. We were like, God, we're kicking so much butt in Arizona. We want to get out of state, but we just keep getting hammered. We need. So it kind of killed two birds with one stone. It gave us that succession plan, and it helped us get the resources to get outside of Arizona finally after 20 years. So there were two major considerations right there.
Did you expect any bit of backlash with, you were a craft brewery and now you're going national with, it's almost like a sacrilege in some people's minds. I thought it was such a success, but did you expect anybody to be a naysayer about the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, just through the experience of seeing some other craft brewers that had done the same thing. But I don't know, I think maybe you guys can disagree with me, maybe we were in a unique position being such a large player in just one state, having such a great loyal following, and thank you to all of you, that it maybe sort of dampened that a little bit. But I think a lot more people had reactions like you, like, wow, that's awesome, an Arizona company did well. More times than not, that's what I hear than the sort of...
I concur. As a guy who stands up front and talks to everybody, 100%. Everybody's stoked that they can get the beer when they go to the beach over there or head up to Vegas. It's the exact thing.
And everybody likes the local guy that does well, you know, a success story. My favorite place to drink your beer is the airport. Because you see people from all over the country and they're looking for something, and there's always somebody at the bar that has an opinion. Try this, do that, and it's great for new people to try it and watch them. And beer is one of those things. Well, I know you guys are big sports fans in the soccer team and everything else, but sports is one of those things that brings people together. But so is beer. Beer is one of those things, and you have really kind of helped build a community, you know, really that kind of community, because they kind of surround themselves around your places, whichever part of town you're in.
Yeah, beer is different in sports as well. As people, I appreciate the passion that they give beer. Unlike, you know, restaurants or, you know, that's a national chain or whatever. But for beer, people really take that personal, and it's just a real, which I'm grateful for, because it's just a great industry to be in. So yeah, I mean, we expected some of it, but like Andy said, you know, for the most part, it's been very positive.
So what's next for Four Peaks? For Arizona, what are we going to see from you guys? What's the plan that you can share with us now that you've been kind of moving this around again and getting into Southern California? What are we going to see in the next year or two?
For Arizona, nothing. I mean, we're going to keep continuing to focus on Arizona. That's where we're from. It's what we do best. So we're not going to leave that at all. Exciting new things for the home market too that you might not see outside of Arizona. So yeah, again, more innovation, more fun stuff, and probably Jim can speak better to what's outside.
More packaged beer.
Yeah, for sure.
Double knots, being able to release beers that we have sort of been stuck in just in the pubs or on a limited basis. So, you know, we'll be able to package some more beers and, you know, get some more variety out to the folks.
Yeah, so it's kind of in steps. So we'll have our mainstreams, you know, Kiltlifter, Peach, Hop Knot, you go into the new markets. And like Randy said, and Andy, that we're going to do much more innovative things for Arizona markets. So these guys are going to, our single tank series is great. It's a one-off. These guys are going to brew, each brewer gets to brew. And we're doing a lot more of that because they're not brewing as much of the Kiltlifter, the flagship brands, at this local facility. So these guys are brewing, I'll collect the curry beer, and they have a chai stout, which is amazing right now. And it's just been really fun to get all these new brands out, you know, and these guys, you know, they're not brewing Kiltlifter like they used to, just day and night. So that's the exciting part. But yeah, Texas, Hawaii, I think are on the horizon. But California is a big state. We're doing Southern California right now. So that's going to keep us busy, but that's mainly the three mainstay flagship brands, and then Arizona is just going to see much more innovative styles come up.
Do you guys have a favorite?
Out of state?
No, a favorite beer of yours.
I like them all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
right now, the Pitchfork Pale Ale.
It is
okay.
I've been
now, does it? What changes it for you? Is it just after you've had it enough, or is it something else that comes along, or?
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, it goes in waves. I mean, last night I had a double knot, and I haven't had one for a little while, and I was just blown away by the piney flavors as opposed to the mandarina, sort of more citrus flavor that's in the Pitchfork. This is a little easier drinking, but I mean, I do appreciate them all. That's the joy of having a brewery.
Well, I told you when we're done here, I'm going to pick my daughter up. She's looking for a car, and I told her I was here, and she said, bring me some Kiltlifter. And I'm like, well, the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree, does it? Because that's it. My house, we drink that, or I love the 8th Street Ale. And it's just, It's just classic, really good beer that anytime somebody comes over and I'm going to give somebody a beer that's maybe never had that before, I know there's never going to be somebody that doesn't like it or isn't blown away by how good it is.
Yeah. That's I think to a man in the brewery or woman in the brewery, they would say, if you ask them what's their favorite beer, they'd say 8th Street. Yeah, it's our most balanced beer. It's a great brewer's kind of beer. It's got everything, plenty of malt, plenty of hops, great balance, great alcohol content, not too much. You can have several of them. So yeah, that's a long time favorite of mine. So right now I'm drinking our new Mexican style lager, which I'm really digging right now. I can't wait for summer to get more of that out there.
Well, listen, Four Peaks has got locations all over the valley. Whether it's in Scottsdale, you go to the airport, you can have a beer there in the Terminal 4, or you come down here to Tempe, or they actually have a tasting room in the East Valley as well. This is a local company started by local people that keep everything local here, and you should be proud of what they've done here in Arizona, because pretty soon the best beer in the country is going to come right out here out of the state of Arizona once they get this all over the place. So cheers to your success, guys.